Hey folks, we are out in bright sunny Chicago today, and we are going to take a look at Shieldbox. This is a monthly subscription service, and this is the March edition of Shieldbox right here. I don't know what's inside it. They don't tell me in advance. They just send it out to me, and I show it on the channel, show you all what's inside. If you turn out to be interested in it, and you think this is something that you might like, doing a monthly subscription service that sends you cool tactical stuff for police and security, and anybody that likes cool tactical stuff, a little bit of a discount, check the link down below, and there's a coupon code. I think it's free field training with no spaces or uppercase or lowercase or dashes or any of that. Just free field training, all one word. You get a little bit of a discount. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it. This is the box they send it in. It doesn't come like this box in a box. It's just the box. And then inside of it is, I bet you there's going to be a lot of blue squiggly paper. That's where the last couple of them had. We're shooting this live. We're going to take comments and questions about the stuff inside at the end. So here's what comes inside. If anybody wants to freeze frame that, take a look at what's in there. But I'm sure we'll read through it later. And this is what's inside the box. So we have Elite Ops energy strips. I've been using these for quite a while. Our TAC guys and our SWAT guys really like these. I handed out 5 or 6 little packs to our SWAT guys, and a bunch of them started buying them. What these are is a little mint, like a breath mint strip, like a Listerine strip, that has, it's 100 milligrams of caffeine in each one. I made the mistake one time of eating one of these and drinking coffee directly afterward, and although I'm pretty resistant to caffeine, drinking coffee afterward with it is not a good idea. So you see it just comes in a little ripped container, and you rip it open, and that's the breath strip inside. I'll save that one for later. And the idea is you can keep coffee or whatever with you in a little packet. So you keep this in your wallet or your planner or whatever at work. So these are actually really nice. And Shieldbox says that that's 15 servings, and they're $1 a piece, so that's 15. 25% off coupon for your first order at SRVS Gear. In case you want to freeze frame and look at it, that's what comes in there. It's got a code on the other side. And it looks like a t-shirt. A size large t-shirt from SRVS. There's the front of the shirt. And it's just kind of a blue line flag in the back. And there's another one in here. Another shirt. Hopefully also a size large, because that's the size I am. Yep. Whoop. And there's the front. And there's the back. Now every month this stuff's different, obviously. Luckily most of the shirts come in size large, and that helps me out a lot. I always use a good new shirt. And we've got, oh, hold on. Forgot to tell you what the shirts cost. So, SRVS Law Enforcement Loyalty Shirt and Give Back Shirt. $28 for both of them. Together. And then we got Battleborn High Purity Gun Oil. It's oil. Put on a gun. They say that's $8.95. That seems about right. I've never used this stuff, so I don't know. And then the last thing is Pistol Tool Real Avid. The pistol tool gives a shooter the ability to maintain, add accessories, and tweak their favorite handgun with easy access to its 19 precision tools. Each tool is calibrated to popular platforms. Striker fire pistols, revolvers, 1911s. Whatever, 40 bucks. It says this is 40 bucks. So, it's a knife with sized screwdriver heads for gunsmithing. So like on-the-fly gunsmithing, you go to the range and you got to fix something on your pistol. This is coming out of the package. I've never even seen one of these in a store, so we're going to take a look. I got a little time before my video camera craps out on me or my phone loses battery. Let me close it up so I don't cut myself with it. And so it looks like it's a pocket knife. There's a kind of a pocket clip there. Well, it's supposed to be a pocket clip or a scraper. Maybe a scraper, yeah. So you got a carbon scraper. That's what it looks like to me. There's a knife with a little thumb stud, so there's a one-handed opening knife. Just a little Tonto blade there. And all of these have liner locks on them. There's a scraper. It's also got a liner lock on it. These liner locks actually have, I don't know if you can see it, they have ball detents on them. That's interesting. You don't see that a lot. A ball detent on a liner lock, but it does make it a lot easier to close, I'll give it that. And you've got all your sized screw heads for popular pistol screws. And then this looks like a pin punch, which would probably work pretty well on a Glock, a Smith & Wesson, or my Remington 870. It looks like it's about the same size pin punch I'd use for all of them. Maybe a little different size, but this looks like it's Glock punch size. And it unscrews, and I guess you could probably screw in a different punch if you got an aftermarket something. I don't know if that comes with this or not. But it also is liner locked with a ball detent. You see the ball detent down there. And then it has this at the end. I don't know what that is. Is that a bottle opener? Or maybe a 1911 wrench. Looks like a bushing wrench for a 1911 to me. I'm guessing that's what it is. So, and there's little tiny Allen head keys, like for adjusting sights or adjusting laser sights and stuff on a pistol. Looks like that'd be about the right size for the smallest one. Would be about the right size for the adjuster on my TLR2 for work. So that's cool. I don't know what that costs MSRP if you were just go buy it, but they say it's about $40, and judging by the heft of it and the ball detent locking on all the liner locks, and that all these lock, and that you can actually disassemble it because it's Torx screws, that seems like it's probably about right. So the box is supposed to be a little over $50. So you get, I've always said with these boxes, if you give me a mid-level knife, I'm happy, right? For $50, good mid-level knife, and then everything else is a bonus, so people will try other stuff, and who couldn't use another knife? So I actually believe that this is probably $40 worth of knife. I don't know what the MSRP for, but you had that with a bottle of gun oil, and even this was a couple of bucks, and then 2 t-shirts. Even if you're just buying them off the rack at Target, that'd be $16. You probably got your money's worth out of this. I really like this. This is going to go in my bag. I'm going to see how these tools work, and I think we'll do a long-term review of how this works. And if the tools suck, I'll let you know. But it looks like it's made pretty well. And that's it, right? That's it. And these will add to the pile. These things are good. The SWAT guys almost ate me through the sample pack that Elite Ops sent me a few months ago. I only have a few left, so this will replenish it, and I can start using them again when I'm a little on midnights. All right, so we're going to go up to the top. We're going to take some comments and questions from the audience, and then we're going to call it a wrap because my phone's probably getting ready to die. Let me know if there's something you guys want to see about any of this. The shirts, I don't imagine there's going to be a lot. But if there's questions about the knife or something, put them in there. Let me know, and we'll address them. All right, we're at the top. Hi, love your videos. Hi, what's going on? How's it going? I was first. Loves your videos. Nice to keep them up. Hey, upcoming, we've got ex post facto law. That's videos coming up. I've got 2 coffee reviews from actual companies that make coffee. They don't just rebag it. Jiva Coffee, which is an actual coffee making company, and Death Wish Coffee, which is one of my favorite coffees out there. I got a bag of their stuff, and we're going to talk about that. And those are 2 really good, high-quality coffee companies that aren't just sticking a cool name on a bag and putting folders in it. So I figured maybe we'll have somebody on YouTube that likes guns and is into cool tactical guy stuff that isn't just trying to sell you coffee in a bag. Like, this is like legitimately better coffee than what you're going to get at the grocery store. So that should be fun for everybody. Let me know which one of those you want to see first down in the comments below this video. KGB2283 says, great video, simple and straight to the point. I have never been accused of that before, but I'll take it, thanks. Are people really going to argue about who is first? I guess they are. Alright, so can you tell me... Salmon Sergey says, sir, can you tell me, do police use rifles? Well, we try not to, because if rifles come out, some bad stuff's going down. But we do have them available to us. I find that on midnights, about twice a month, the rifle will make it out. And on afternoons, especially in the summer, it can be a couple times a week the rifle makes it out because a very serious situation comes up. Rifles are necessary for reach, and they're also necessary for if you get into a situation where somebody has cover or has body armor or has the drop on you. You know, rifles solve a lot of problems that just handguns just can't. At least not the handguns that we have with current technology. We'll do a video about that in the future, like what I'd like to see in a police duty handgun that I think companies could actually do that none of them are doing. Because to be honest with you, most companies they're just kind of like sedentary on 9mm, and I think that's dumb. I think a lot could be done with ballistics and with handguns today to bring up their performance. It's not being done because everybody's happy with what they have, which I think is silly. Tier Talk says, what up, Tommy? That is awesome. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions about corrections and the equipment that they use and modern day interesting topics regarding corrections, go over to Tier Talk's channel. I'll try to remember to put a link to it down in the description below. I've been trying to do interoperate with other smaller YouTube channels that I think have value, and Tier Talks is definitely one of them. Every time I go on to one of his videos, I learn something new about the correctional environment that I didn't know, because I've never really worked hardcore correctional environment. We have a temporary lockup at work, and that's about it. I don't even like working there. And so to hear from people that actually work in prisons is pretty interesting to me. Logan Barlow says, what's the best thing you've gotten from Shieldbox? The best thing so far has been the Osseous knife. I don't have it on me. I wish I did. Stat Gear makes a whole series of knives, right? Like, I've gotten a bunch of them through Shieldbox. And so this is one that I got from Stat Gear themselves. And this one was pretty cool. It's a nice little EDC knife. They have a big knife that's also really well made from Stat Gear. They're all, as far as I know, all of them are D2 tool steel. So they sharpen pretty easy. And they've got a little bit of heft to them, but they're not ginormous. They sit easy in the pocket. So this one's really nice. This little Stat Gear knife. And then the Osseous I got from them from in Shieldbox. It was a big old honking knife, but that one's pretty solid. But I've been using that at work, so I don't have it on me. I don't carry big old honking knives around when I'm not working. At least not anymore. Back before I was a cop, I used to carry a big old honking knife around, but that was before I carried a gun around too. Daniel Windsor says, how much is the box? These they're a little over $50 without the discount, so I don't know how much it is with it. You check the link down below and they'll get you the updated pricing. KGB2283 says, how would you rate the products so far from that monthly box? Every month that they send it, it seems to be getting a little bit better. The first box was, you could check the channel back, the first box was underwhelming. And I kind of put it out there like, I don't know what these products cost, and I hadn't really looked any of it up. And judging by their calculations, it was, you were getting a good deal, but it wasn't stuff that I was really excited about. And since I was one of the first people that, Shieldbox said, hey, we're going to send this to you, just talk about it on your channel. We don't care what you say, just talk about it. I sent them back. I'm like, hey, if you send a mid-quality knife with each of these, people probably like it a whole lot. And luckily, they've kind of hooked up with some knife companies, and they've gotten that. T-shirts, again, as long as you're somewhere in the realm of a size large, or your wife or girlfriend is somewhere in the realm of a size men's large, T-shirts are always a go. So every time I get one of these, it seems like the quality of it gets better, because I think they're getting better and better companies on board with sending them stuff. Had I paid $53 blindly and I got this, I think I'd be pretty happy with it, because everything that's in here I'm going to use. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use these. You be damn sure I'm going to use these. Everything's going to get used. And a lot of it is stuff that I would have bought anyway. Like, I would have bought t-shirts anyway. I would have bought more of the energy strips anyway. I really like both of those. But I wouldn't have bought these t-shirts. I would have bought another knife, and I would have bought another multi-tool, but I wouldn't have bought this one. So this gives me the opportunity to try them. Now, some of the Shield boxes I've been completely skunked on. I've gotten the stuff and been like, I mean, okay, but wasn't really excited with it. And I think that's the roll of the dice you get anytime you get a subscription box from anything. So this one I'm very happy with. We'll see what next month brings. You never know. Peyton Gearhard put $9.99 in the tip jar. Thank you very much. We'll go get the coffee and donuts with that later, and says, go subscribe. Go subscribe. That's all he said. Sean Ricky says, hey, Tommy, how are you doing? I got a new training starting this Monday. Hey, good luck. We're doing more videos with note-taking. I got a couple of suggestions from people that are training officers right now talking about note-taking and report writing and some gaps in the educational videos we have now. So I was going to do vehicle searches and people searches. It's been pretty cold out here, and I haven't had a lot of help with doing people searches, so with like pat-downs and stuff like that. So I think as long as I have the kids out of the house for a couple of days, I'm gonna knock out some more of the note-taking, report writing stuff, which is the pure type of educational content a lot of people on here really like. So we're gonna push that out. See how you guys like it. Hopefully that helps people out. Nico Turdisky says, is this your first box? No, I've done, I think, 5 of these before. Daniel Erickson says, hello, how have you been? I've been pretty good. Peter Schmidt says, can you tell us again how much is in the energy strip? Okay. I think it's 100 milligrams. So each of these is like a cup of coffee, basically. Yeah, caffeine, 100 milligrams a strip. And then there's some other stuff. There's like vitamin E, B6, vitamin B12, whatever. It's the caffeine you're after. It's 100 milligrams. So if you have this with a cup of coffee, it's like chugging 2 cups of coffee. George Orozhinka, sorry about your name, man. I don't know how to pronounce that. Says, what would you change about the police academy I'm in now and so much is boring, drawn-out silliness? We didn't have a lot of boring, drawn-out silliness when I was there, so it would depend on what academy you're at. If I had to change one thing about the police academy, I would make it longer. You know, I would give people more of the core skills that they need. I would do a 10-hour block on note-taking. Not report writing with some attorney, but note-taking. Christopher West says CZ P10 9C 2.0 for CCW, whichever you like more. I haven't really had any problems with either of them. I don't know anybody that's had problems with either of them. I will tell you the M&P 9C is going to be easier to find holsters for. So if that makes any difference to you, you may want to go that way. Especially if you start adding a light to it or something later, your M&P series is going to be easier to find stuff for. Holsters, aftermarket stuff. Tier Talk says, how's the weather by you? Right now, it's not bad, which is why I'm getting this done. I just got the box, and I'm like, I need to get this done right now, because the weather here has been atrocious. I'm, like, way backlogged with outdoor equipment review stuff. Sorry for that for you guys, but, like, we're trying to find ways to do stuff indoors. It's like 45 degrees, like, heat wave! Let's get outside and do it. Mr. Fusion says, where the heck did your coffee sip go? I just did it. I'm just pouring it into a cup now because I got my cool mug that one of the subscribers sent me. I think it's Sandy sent this mug out, which is really nice. Hello from California. Hello from Illinois. Blackwater Operations says, do you think duty pistols should be able to run RMRs on them? I think they should be able to run RMRs on them. I think handgun manufacturers are getting on board with that trend. The question is it going to be a trend long-term? And since I haven't used an RMR a lot on a pistol, I can't tell you whether that's a trend long-term. Now, 5 years ago, I looked into this issue, and my problem with the durability of RMRs and the availability of holsters to fit RMRs onto. And Safariland had a couple options. Blackhawk, I think, had a couple options, and you could modify some holsters to use RMRs. But the issue really was those holsters were not especially secure, and they weren't actually protecting the RMR. I know there's guys that have been in law enforcement that have had an RMR, they've had it on their pistol, they've had it for years, and you're like, oh, I never had a problem. They're all working in the middle of nowhere. You don't see this stuff in major metro areas with guys actually working the street because our stuff gets banged up. And every time I had somebody at work that tried to do it, and oh, well, it got a little out of zero, and I don't want to play with that. But now that Aimpoint's on the market, and they're saying their RMR is 40 cal rated, which a lot of them aren't, which, you know, for better or worse, that round is around. It's going to stay around for a while for law enforcement. And if it's not 40 cal rated, then what do you think is going to happen when you shoot with 9mm plus P, right? You're going to start having problems with it holding zero, and that's the issues that I've had with RMRs in the past. They get knocked around, they don't hold zero, we get all those issues. Now, Aimpoint comes on the market with one they're saying that's not going to be an issue with. And Aimpoint is the company that I use for red dots. I use them on my rifles and everything else. So I'm very interested to get a hold of one of the new Aimpoint Acros, get it on a 9mm pistol. As soon as we change over 9mm to good 9mm ammo at work, I don't have to use 40 or 45 anymore, and see how it works out. And now we've got Safariland is making good holsters that actually protect that red dot sight, and I think from my using it, it could be very useful. It's about making it practical for law enforcement that I think is the issue. And if Aimpoint comes out with something that can actually like toe the line and be practical for law enforcement, I'm really hopeful that other companies will also come out with things that are practical and useful for law enforcement, that are very durable, and we have other holster companies that jump on board and start making duty holsters, and the Safariland makes better duty holsters for RMRs, and we can see that blow up. If they don't, then I think it's going to be a dead-end shot. You know, things have to be dead-bang reliable for law enforcement to get behind it. You can see how long it took for law enforcement just to get behind red dot and magnified optics on rifles. I mean, we were a good 20 years behind on that, and now we're having the same thing show up with pistols. But issuing them is going to be the problem. Making, you know, the more complicated you make this duty pistol, the harder it's going to be to make your lowest common denominator be good with it. That's kind of my take on them now. I'm really excited to try it, like long term, but you're talking a $1,400, $1,500 project for me. I'd have to buy a gun that's set up for a red dot, get a new light, because I don't need a laser on it anymore, and you're not going to make holsters for lights with lasers that are also red dot compatible, so I have to get a new light, I have to get a new gun, I have to get all new mags, because I might as well change calibers while I'm at it, as soon as the PD changes over. We're supposed to be going to Winchester Ranger T soon, instead of Remington Golden Saber. And then I have to get the actual RMR, so altogether you're looking at least $1,500, $1,600 project. That's not chump change for me. I drive a Toyota Corolla. Alex McGinnis says, have you heard, and what do you think of the Taser X7? Haven't used it. Nicholas Barlow says, hey Tommy, can you make a video about med gear for officer or general patrol and active shooter? I have it. It's the police car trunk gear bag, and it gives you a bunch of different ways you can set it up. It's right at the top of my channel. Black Dolphin 90 says, you think a cop should learn and carry lockpicks? It can be pretty useful, but most of the times if we have reason to access something that's locked, we have reason to break it. It can be helpful with situations where, like, we have a check the well-being where we'd have every reason to go in, but we really don't want to break the person's door just to check on them and find out they're not really there. So that can be useful. We've used them occasionally at work. What I will tell you you need to do is learn how to take a driver's license or a credit card and just kind of jimmy the bottom lock on a door. That gets you through 90% of life's problems with getting in locked doors. Logan Barlow says you should do a video on doing reports and how long it usually takes. I got a bunch of those and we're doing more. Rajan says, how tall are you? I'm 5'2". Little tiny cop. How much coffee you drink? A lot. And that's the proper answer. Leo2730 says, do you agree with charging disorderly conduct for profanity in public or First Amendment issue? What? We don't do that here. Hockey Master YT says, how long is law enforcement training and academy, and what do you do in them? We've got a whole bunch of videos about law enforcement training. It's free field training after all. We'll condense it. You do between 4 and 25 weeks, depending. Here it's 16 weeks of academy training. And then you got between 2 weeks and about 8-9 months of field training, where the person who just got out of the academy has to be in a car with somebody like me that's an experienced patrolman. It goes out and shows them the ropes and how to apply the things they learned at the academy to real life. And then after that, you've got whatever time they have on probation. And then, you know, where the department decides whether or not they're going to keep them based upon their street performance and the coaching that the supervisors and the FTOs can give them. And then after that, every month, at least where I'm at, we get 8 hours of in-service training. So that's the training regimen in a nutshell. Hasman the Great says, what do you prefer, hinged or chain cuffs? I like them both. I use them both. Devin Desmore says, what kind of gun do you have? Well, right now, I'm carrying a Smith & Wesson 360 PD in a Harry's Holsters Contender. Sorry, Icon. Revolver holster. At work, I carry a Glock 35 with a TLR2 on it. And I got a lot of other stuff. We're still asking about, in North Carolina, it is a misdemeanor to use profanity in a public street or walkway within earshot of at least two others. Do you think that's a violation of the First Amendment? How would you even enforce that? I have never heard of that before. I don't think that would... does that pass muster in court? You know, there's lots of things that are on the books that no one ever enforces because it doesn't make any sense, let alone pass muster against the First Amendment. Leo2730 says, I had to charge that recently because my FTO told me to, and I am on the fence, but I had to do it. I would have to know the circumstances to know what you're talking about. Here, a cop can't even charge. I can't charge disorderly conduct unless I have a complaint. Like, someone would come to court and complain and be like, yeah, it's disorderly. Because, like, how can I be alarmed by something? I'm a cop. That's kind of how we deal with it here, so I don't know, man. Daniel Winsar says, I would second more medical videos. I'm an EMT and I love your videos. We're going to talk about tourniquets in the future because everybody remembers Stat Tourniquet, and then some crazy stuff happened with Stat Tourniquet. They don't really work all that well. So we're going to do a video about what I've learned since then about Stat Tourniquet, because if I was taken for a ride, I know a lot of other people could be taken for a ride too. I learned a lot of very interesting things. Got a lot of emails about Stat Tourniquet when it hit the mainstream, and people started to go, whoa, these things were never reliably tested. And then when people did start testing them, they started breaking. So more on that later. Until next week, you guys be safe. You take care of each other. My phone's on.